It was only a few weeks ago when Tissot finally announced the 40mm version of the SeaStar 1000 in automatic, getting the Powermatic 80. One of the most common comments that I've gotten on every video that I did featuring the 43mm version of the SeaStar 1000 is, why haven't they come out with a 40mm version of this watch? So here we are, now we have one. So they're moving on to the next watch, the next step for the SeaStar 1000 40mm, and that is a GMT. They have released a new GMT today. It's in quartz form, which is of course a sign of things to come, an automatic version probably in the near future. We'll talk about that during the video. However, let's talk about the details on this new SeaStar 1000 GMT in quartz and 40mm. So you may or may not be familiar with the Tissot release schedule. However, what they do with most of their watches is they release it in a larger form in automatic. So they did this with the SeaStar 1000 GMT. Just about a year ago, they released an automatic version of this watch, the watch that we're looking at today, in 43mm, and that got a Powermatic 80. Today, we're getting the GMT in 40mm, that's quartz, and eventually, about 6 months from now, we'll be getting it in automatic. It could be 6 months to a year. They did this with the PRX, and they've done it with plenty of other of their watches in their lineup. So if you're interested in this watch, that's great. However, if you are not, and you're more interested in an automatic version of this watch, there will be a Powermatic 80 version. Eventually, it could be by the end of this year or possibly some point next year. I know a lot of the comments on this video will be people saying that they're waiting for the automatic version to come out. However, let's talk about the details on this quartz version. It's priced really well. And of course, it's a sign of what's to come. These will be the dimensions for the 40mm version, except for the width. And then of course, the 40mm version will get a textured dial. Of course, they come out with the quartz without a textured dial, and then eventually the automatic with a textured dial. So the details on this one, there are 3 different versions. There is a root beer version. It's a 2-tone. You're getting a brown and black bezel, a black dial, and the bracelet is in 2-tone. The bracelet on here is very similar to every other bracelet that we've seen on the SeaStar. It's a 3-link bracelet with polishing down the middle. You're getting a very generic buckle. It's just a fold over clasp. It is partially pressed, partially milled, and then of course it is stamped with the Tissot logo. It has a few positions of manual micro adjust, so you will need to manually adjust that with a spring bar tool. However, it is a decent bracelet. It's not the best bracelet you're ever going to encounter, but at this price for a major brand, it's really not all that terrible. The other versions are a green and black bezel version with a black dial. That's on a stainless steel bracelet. The price on that is $495. The one with the 2-tone gold, that comes out at $550, so that's the most expensive version. The green and black version is sort of a Sprite version. They did not come out with a Pepsi or Coke version, which I'm kind of surprised by because that is a very popular option. So maybe that will be in the future. Then the last color that they came out with is a black bezel with a black dial. This one is on a strap. So this one is actually the cheapest out of the bunch. I believe this is a canvas strap or a rubber strap. I think you can get it on either. And this one comes in at $450. So this is the cheapest out of the bunch. It's also the least colorful out of the bunch. So if you're not that into the colors on the bezel, this is the way to go. 300 meters of water resistance. So this still gets 300 meters of water resistance, even though it's a quartz GMT, screwed in crown, screwed in case back with the Tissot logo, mineral crystal on the bezel, sapphire crystal for the watch. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me because obviously you have a mineral crystal next to a sapphire crystal. That mineral crystal will scratch, the sapphire will not. So eventually there will be a noticeable difference between the two. That I don't get, and at this price they definitely could put a sapphire crystal on the bezel. There are other brands who do this. However, you know, Tissot are trying to compete with micro brands. It would be smart of them to give as much as they can at this price range because they are competing directly with micro brands, in a lot of cases beating micro brands with some of the specs and a lot of the looks. So I think people really like Tissot. They are becoming somewhat of a cult brand, especially after the PRX and how big of a hit that was. I think they should probably lean into the enthusiast market, put a sapphire crystal on the bezel. Other than that, I think this is a really good looking watch, and I really cannot wait for that automatic version to come out, because usually that will get a textured dial and a see-through case back. I'm not sure if that will get a mineral bezel, but it will be more expensive, so perhaps they'll put a sapphire. That should be in the range of around $700 to $800. I believe it might even be a little bit more than that, because the current automatic dive watch is around $700. So this will be a little bit more expensive because it's a GMT. The GMT on here, the quartz movement inside, is an ETA movement. So I believe because of that, that means that this is a military GMT or an office GMT, not a traveler's GMT. So that means when they come out with the automatic version, that will be an automatic traveler's GMT. Definitely stay tuned for that watch as well. Of course, I will have coverage here when it is released. Currently, this is not released yet. It is on pre-order on the Tissot website. So if you're interested in it, definitely check out the Tissot website. They have them there right now. You could put in your email to get notified when they are actually released. Sometimes these watches do sell out. You may want to do that. That is totally up to you. Anyway, guys, tell me what you think down in the comments below. Will you be getting the automatic version? That's probably the biggest question. I think a lot of people in the comments will comment that they're going to wait for the automatic version. Are you one of those people? Tell me down in the comments. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think? Please also don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell icon. I really, really do appreciate it. A lot of the people who watch this channel are not subscribed. And if you could subscribe, I would really very much appreciate it. And also like this video, because I do put a lot of work into these videos and this channel, and I just, I want it to be successful, and I need you guys. I rely on you guys to help me with that. So please, if you can, subscribe and hit that like button. I really do appreciate it. Anyway, guys, thank you for logging on. Thank you for watching this video. I'll catch you in the next video.